ready for Oskaloosa High School sports on the Indians Network. Live sports. Local content. Student-run broadcasts. MCG, Oski News, and KIIC bring you the Indians Network. Presented by Craig Ford.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network presented by Craig Ford. My name is Jamie Brockman, and again this week we're going to get you up to date on what's happening in Oskaloosa sports. We'll talk girls and boys basketball, get you up to date on wrestling as well. It was a busy week last week, a busy week coming up this week, and we'll make sure that you are in the know. First off, I do want to talk a little bit about Little Hawkeye Conference, girls and boys, update you there. This is as of Sunday, and the girls race right now, Grinnell is on top of that one at 5-0. Indianola is 5-1. DCG and Pella are 4-2, and then Norwalk is at 4-3, and then Newton 2-5, Pella Christian 1-5, and Oskaloosa down at the bottom at 0-7. That's how the conference rankings shake out for the girls as of Sunday. On the boys' side, we've been talking about this all year. It's crazy. Norwalk is 6-1, Indianola 5-1, Pella 4-2. A couple of these teams still have a makeup game to get in there, but Indianola 5-1, Pella 4-2, DCG, Pella Christian both 3-3, Grinnell 2-3, Newton 2-5, and probably the biggest surprise of all, Oskaloosa at 0-7, first time through the Little Hawkeye Conference. So the first half through was exactly what we thought it would. Everybody kind of beating everybody, making it tough night in, night out, and now we start the second time through later on this coming week on Friday when conference games resume. So we'll talk to girls coach J.C. White. We'll talk to boys coach DeJuan Foster. And I'll update you on what's been going on with Oskaloosa Wrestling as well. That is all coming up on this week's edition of the Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. We'll be back right after this.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision, Hy-Vee!
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car, and you want to give them the protection they deserve with home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Welcome back to this week's Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network presented by Craig Ford. I'm Jamie Brockman, and we're going to recap the week of Oskaloosa basketball and talk about what's coming up. We'll be joined shortly by DeJuan Foster, boys coach, and right now we have J.C. White, the girls basketball coach, joining us. J.C., good to see you.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah, appreciate you toughing out the weather and coming in this 30 below ice that we have. But anyway, busy week for the girls. You had 3 outings last week, started on Monday at Pella, and you and I talked after the game there that we thought, the girls showed some improvements in that game despite it being a 30-point deficit in the end.
Yeah, we're really moving the ball well offensively. We're getting better on defense. We don't set goals to win games necessarily against every team, but I felt like we're starting to execute better. I hope the girls are seeing those improvements in the games, small victories here and there.
Yep. Early on it was a great game, and then as the game went on, they kind of pulled away, and as we said, it was a 30-point difference at the end. But I think we had you for 15 turnovers, which is about half usual. And obviously, when you have more offensive opportunities, you're able to be more in games. That's what we saw.
Yeah, we've kind of got a true point guard coming in. We've got some younger girls playing. Presley Blomers has been a huge key. She just sees the floor really well, and I mean, as a freshman, she still plays a little bit like a freshman, but she's really coming on, and she's a big part of what lowered our turnovers.
Yeah, you can see her basketball IQ. You can tell that she's played club ball, AAU ball, things like that. It just shows. So as this season has went on, our team has become much deeper. I mean, you started out with maybe a 7-girl rotation, I think, and now you're giving some of those younger girls a chance to play, like Presley and Addie, and Gracie's played a little bit, Gracie Flaherty and a few others. So let's talk about how that has helped you to this point now that we get ready to go through the conference the second time.
Well, a lot of those younger girls, you know, they're still playing younger, but it's just getting them up to speed. You know, you could see coming in at the start of the season, their basketball IQ is definitely there. They understand the game. It's just getting them up to varsity level playing. And we've got lots of girls coming on, like you said. Addie Carter's shooting really well. Gracie Flaherty, she's been a little bit sick the last couple games, so you haven't seen a lot of her. We want to get her healthy, but Presley Blomers, you know, there's Aubrey Blanco's coming on strong. She's got great footwork inside, so it's just patience in letting those girls develop, those younger girls develop at the JV level, and then getting them ready to play some solid varsity minutes.
But one thing I noticed last week is obviously, you know, our first goal, I suppose, offensively is to get the ball inside to Amanda, and you can see the girls look to do that. But defensively, Amanda is really becoming a force here as the season goes on, especially this past week.
Yeah, she's been playing really well on the defensive end. She is definitely a presence inside. You know, she changed a lot of shots. She had, I think, 6 blocks, and that doesn't include all the shots she changed of girls just being in the lane. So she's done a great job for us defensively. You know, Jillian Jennings plays some good minutes for us inside. She's kind of an undersized post, and we talked to her at PC. You know, she was working her butt off trying to guard Van Gorp inside, but being an undersized post, you can only do so much. And so those two have been giving us great minutes, great looks inside.
Yeah. So that was Monday. And then Tuesday we had Indianola, and, well, that night didn't go so well. Indianola, a very talented young team.
Yeah, they are really athletic. They're really good. And they return almost everybody on that team. So they've had 2 years of those girls coming. So we did good things. I was happy with the way we played. It's tough when you're playing girls that are just more skilled at every position than us, and you know their guards are as tall as our girls that are playing inside, and so we just had tough matchups all night long with them.
Friday night it was supposed to be Friday night, got moved to Thursday because of the snow, which was the right call, obviously. And we played Thursday night at Pella Christian. There's a lot going on that night. They were celebrating the 30-year anniversary of their undefeated boys 1990 state champions. It was a packed house, great atmosphere, and these were two teams that were fighting to get their first little Hawkeye Conference win. So it was exciting. And boy, I tell you what, I said to you after the game, Pella Christian did not play like an 0-10 team. I mean, they had probably their best game of the year, and it seemed like they just couldn't miss. Yeah,
they shot a lot better than what we were expecting. You know, we really didn't shoot well. We got great looks. We moved the ball really well. We got ourselves in foul trouble early, and the difference in the game was kind of their points from the free throw line. So we executed our game plan pretty well, other than getting in foul trouble, and you know, you can't really help that all the time.
Yeah, we talked about Amanda, and when she was on the floor, she got 2 fouls fairly early in the first quarter, sat out much of the first half. But when she was out there, she really, really shut down their big girl inside. When Amanda went to the bench, they just pounded it inside, and she just kind of scored at will. We didn't have an answer.
Yeah, it took her a couple minutes to kind of get in. We went with a small lineup, and we were kind of just flying all over the place, making it tough, and then she kind of locked in. You know, it's tough when you're outsized inside, and the girls were fighting hard and trying to do what they could. Jillian fought hard playing defense, then she got herself in some foul trouble too, so we went really small, and you know, when you go extra small, there's no post inside. It just got tough for us.
Exactly. So, again, you know, the busy week last week, 3 tough games, but some good things to take out of that. I don't know if you've had any chance to get together and practice at all over the weekend with the weather and cancellations and things, but another busy week coming up this coming week. Now, this show will air on Wednesday, so some of this will be done before people actually see this, but I know Tuesday, I believe you're still scheduled, as far as we know, to play at home against Bondurant Farrar, and then Friday, you've got a conference game starting the second time through against Grinnell. So let's talk about that Bondurant-Farrar game first. It's home. It's non-conference. Is this where you feel maybe you can throw some new things in, try some new things that you maybe want to see try as we go through the second part of the conference?
Yeah, I hope so. We're going to work kind of some of our smaller lineup and see if we can pull girls out. We've got some shooters coming on, shooting well. We'll see if we can just make some stuff happen defensively with our smaller lineup.
What is Bondurant-Farrar? I know they've had some decent teams recently. Yeah,
they'll still be tough. They return a lot of good athletes, and they've got younger girls, I'm sure, pulling from the Des Moines area. They get some athletes coming in, just like any of those other Des Moines area schools.
Yeah. All right, so then we go the second time through the Little Hawkeye Conference starting on Friday at Grinnell, and we'll see all these conference teams again, and we went 0-7 the first time through, but what have you identified as goals going through the conference the second time? I mean, obviously probably not going to go 7-0 or anything like that, but what do you want to see the girls go out there and do as we go back through the conference again?
Small victories. It's not always going to be about the scoreboard for us. Defensively, holding some of the teams to certain amounts of points, leading people on boards, just little victories, different quarters that we want to win. Let's win the first quarter. Let's win the third quarter, whatever it is. We've got nothing to lose second time around, so I just want the girls to play, not think, and just play.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked you this on a post game, I believe on Friday maybe, or Thursday, but what is the mentality of the girls right now? I mean, they've taken some lumps and they've had some good nights, and then they've had some backward step nights. So where would you say the girls are right now mentally? Are they still believing in each other? Are they staying positive?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a great group of girls that they actually enjoy each other. It's not always rainbows and butterflies with girls on teams, but we surprisingly have a really great group, close-knit. They like to spend time together outside of basketball, so that does a lot for them, just to stay together and stay positive and encourage each other. Yep.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to going through the conference the second time through, and maybe we can pull a couple surprises, catch people on an off night that might maybe be overlooking, taken for granted a little bit. If somebody does that, this team can win. I mean, this team can surprise somebody.
Absolutely. I think that'd be good for us just to come out and surprise somebody.
Absolutely. All right, well, JC, we appreciate you coming in as always, and I know you want to get back in the warm and get under the blanket and maybe watch a little football or whatever. But we appreciate you coming in, and we look forward to watching you again next week, and hopefully some more good things to talk about next week.
All right.
All right. That is J.C. White. She's the head girls basketball coach joining us here on Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. We'll continue basketball talk with DeJuan Foster, the head boys basketball coach, coming up next here on the Indians Corner.
Shake the sugar tree till I feel you.
They was swinging. Yeah, just a swinging. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime.
You mind your own business. Mind your own business. Nobody in town knows crazy over you.
Thunder Country, your all-time favorites.
How does MCG Internet stack up against the rest? Our customers' four-letter word to describe us. Love. Their customers' four-letter word to describe them. Join MCG and fall in love with your internet.
Welcome back to the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network, presented by Craig Ford. We continue our basketball talk, and we're joined right now by DeJuan Foster, the boys basketball coach here at Oskaloosa. And Coach, again, good to see you. Thanks for braving the elements and coming in and talking to us this weekend.
No problem, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
Another crazy weekend where we had to adjust things and play on days that we weren't expecting to play. But a busy week started out on Monday. It was supposed to be last Friday, but it got postponed to Monday with Pella. And we went to Pella, and obviously not the night we were hoping for at Pella. Pella brought it to us pretty good. Tell us about that night.
The Pella game was a good game. It was actually, I think the game was a lot closer, and there was a lot more positives in that game. We're playing Pella, and it's a pretty tough game, and then Xavier goes down, and it gets blown open a bit. Even with him out at one point in the game, late in the third quarter, early fourth, we cut it to 6 points, and we were kind of hoping and waiting maybe he could come back. And he came back, he wasn't himself, but that's neither here nor there. Pella played well. Imagine just if you told me that Shutterly would not score double digits, I'd say we win that game. Don Holtman stepped up for Pella and made some shots. Hats off to Isaac Schultz. He had a tough week last week with the kids who he was guarding, and he held them both to single digits. Pella's other guys made plays, and they shot the ball a lot better than they had stat-wise all year, but. What's going to happen when it's Oski versus Pella?
Exactly. And, traditionally Pella is a good long-range shooting team, and stat-wise on paper so far this year wasn't typical, but man, they just couldn't miss, it seemed, from long range on Monday night. And Pella got the win, and as you mentioned, Xavier went down late in that game. They took him to the training room for concussion protocol. They cleared him, brought him back in, and you mentioned he wasn't himself. He took about a 30-foot three that about broke the backboard,
right.
And that's obviously not the way he shoots. So I think right then we kind of knew that, maybe something's wrong with Xavier. But how's he doing since?
He's getting better. He's on the mend. There's still some things that are kind of concerning. This is my first time really dealing with, a concussion. But there's some things that, we're just going to take our time, and hopefully we can get him back soon.
All right. Well, then Tuesday, Indianola came to town, and Indianola is a team that, has been knocking off some of those teams in the conference. They're right up there at the top, and I don't know that we expected they were going to be as good as they have been the first time through the conference, but they showed us. They got a couple good guards, and man, they brought it.
No one expected Indianola to be as good. They lost a lot last year. They lost, Gauger and VC. Gauger's over at UNI, and I'm not sure where VC went, but they lost those two kids, and we thought, okay, Indianola's going to be down because, we watched that team kind of come along for the past 4 years. They went from 2 wins to like 6 to 12, and they won 18 games last year. But so we were assuming that they'd be down, but as I talked to their coach, they had a lot of guys who came in and put in work over the summer. Tice Johnson's one of the better shooters in the conference. Up on us playing that game, I think he was shooting 57% from 3. Another kid who Isaac held to single digits. The A.J. Tiago kid really killed us. He got to the rim at will and finished. The kid almost had a triple-double. We played well once again for about 3 quarters, and we just couldn't finish. I think they outscored us 22-7 in the 4th quarter, so it's about finishing games. We've lost some games, but both those games were kind of steps in the right direction, and it's just getting over that hump and finishing now.
And I think that's maybe one thing that some people might be overlooking a little bit. 0-7 first time through the conference, struggling, losing record right now overall. But you look at Norwalk, you look at Pella, these are 2 ranked teams, 2 very possible state tournament teams. Indianola could sneak in there, although they got to go 4A, so it's going to be a little tougher. But these are 3 very good teams that, at least for portions of the game, we were even with.
We played well with anybody, and it's about just staying the course right now. It's adversity, and we're going to see what we're made of coming back around, because I don't know that there was a game that I can think of that I don't think is winnable at all. We just have to stay the course and stay with it, and I think good things will happen in the second half of the season.
All right, well, we got to talk about Pella Christian Friday.
That
was one that I think everybody probably want to forget. 79-49. We were actually down 40 late in that game and came back to cut it to a 30-point final deficit. But you put it best in your postgame. They punched us in the mouth right out of the gate, and we just didn't answer.
The first quarter we scored 6 points. It's going to be hard to win a game if you score 6 points in a quarter and give up 12. And then second, third quarter, they just, they felt us kind of drawing back, and they just stepped on the gas, and, we couldn't do very much to stop them. The rim got big. They just started making shots from all over. But like I said, we're looking at positives in this whole thing, and I think the 4th quarter is a positive. Sure, it's against their bottom guys, but I think the effort and energy that our bottom 6-7 players came and played with, it shows a lot as far as these kids have all been kind of waiting their turn. And, it's one of those things, we're not winning. Why not give me a chance? It may be your time now, guys, because something, we may have to change things up a little bit just to see if we can't shake it up and get some life going.
Waylon Bolibaugh came in with 4 late points. Dalton Denny had a couple baskets with 5 points. Mason Barnhart even had a basket, which got everybody excited. So those guys got some decent time Friday at PC, and they made the most of it. You mentioned the rim got big. They just couldn't miss. Jack Vermeer, he's a good athletic player, but I don't think he's the number one guy on the stat chart that you look at going in. But he was that night, 23 points, and I think he had 5 or 6 threes. And
6 for 12 from 3. I mean, he shot the ball well. Every other 3 he shot went in. And that's the scouting report on him. He's a shooter. He got clean looks and knocked a couple down early, and then it was just make or miss after that.
Yep. So here's what I want to know. So when that game was over, obviously, that had to be a little embarrassing for the guys, I imagine. And now they've had, the whole weekend to let it sink in. What feel did you get from the guys after that game? Did it hurt?
I think so. I think it did hurt. It's one of those things that we've beat Pella Christian a couple times in a row, and they had a little bit more to play for in that game than us per se. We can go in and look at our excuses. We're down players. We aren't at full strength, and then they had their honoring their state championship team. It was just a big deal for them, and they came out and they played well. I think the guys, this one hurt a lot, not so much that it was a loss, it was just the way that we lost. I think it really does bother the guys.
All right, well, that could be just the fuel we need as we get ready to go through the conference the second time around. Couple things to talk about first, and I know you don't like to make excuses, and we're not making excuses, but you got to look at facts, and that is we've had, maybe 3 games this year where we've had our lineup exactly how you would have penciled it out, possibly, if that many. Every night we're dealt with somebody being sick or out or injured, and again, a couple guys that have been playing for us weren't available Friday at PC either. So.
Right, it's one of those things. I think there's been 4 games where we've had everyone. The first 3 of the season, then Xavier goes out, and then the first one, I guess you can even say the first 2 because Xavier played the Pella game.
Yep.
But, it was, Colton was out the Pella game. So, it was just one of those things. So we've had 4 games this year where guys are playing, where we had them slated to play. And kids' roles change. When you're missing a starter, then everybody's role changes a bit. And that's kind of tough to deal with, on the fly, because so much of this happens the day before you understand, hey, we got to plug this person into this place. And it's one of those things we just have to adapt and adjust. And us as a coaching staff, we have to get better as far as with those adaptations and getting kids in the proper position to be as successful as possible.
We'll talk about getting thrown into the fire. Obviously you weren't expecting to be a head coach this year, and but then to have to deal with all this stuff. And it's not like, some teams your leading scorer, your leading rebounder goes down with an ankle and is out for a couple of weeks. Okay, you adjust. This is somebody different all the time. So your post guy's out. Now he's back. Now the point guard's out. So not only are they having to adapt, but almost every single night it's a different role.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess, and kids taking on different roles, and that's not easy. Sure, you're just going out and playing basketball, but one night you may have to be the best defender that we have, and that's just not something that you can tune into. It's something that you got to work at it. And I think the kids have done a really good job of dealing with all the adversity. And like I said, it's just about us as a coaching staff being better and helping put them in the proper place to be successful.
We'll finish with this. What are your major focuses in the practice? You don't have a lot of practice time, obviously, with as many games and stuff, but what are the number one things that you are focusing on in practice and that we need to improve?
Defensively, we have to get better defensively. And the past couple seasons and even earlier this season, we hung our hats on us defensively. We aren't getting it done defensively. We have individuals who are doing it good, but as a collective, we're not very good defensively, and we're not getting the stops we want. Or if we get the stops, we're not getting the ball. And it's just that thing, if we can limit teams to one shot and, secure the ball and then go play offense, I think we'll be okay. It's about just getting better defensively. It's one of those things, the kids got to want to stop. There's no magic formula for it. There's a lot of want to and a lot of fight involved in playing good defense.
All right, well, I lied. I got one more question for you. So I want to go back to Xavier for a minute. I know your hope is that maybe we have him back by Friday for the conference game. If not, maybe one of those Monday or Tuesday games. But I want to know, it's his senior year. And I know he's committed to Iowa State. He's got a big future ahead of him. But this is his senior year, and he was excited about this. And here he's missing about a third or more of his season. So what is his mindset right now?
I mean, he's kind of down about it. It just sucks because you have this grand vision of what your senior season is going to be like. You're going to go out, you're going to get all these buckets and do whatever. It's just not coming to fruition. The cool thing is, he doesn't play Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Friday. You got 8 games left to lay it all out there for, your senior year. So it's just about getting him healthy and getting him back. And, if we could have him for 3-4 games in a row would be really nice.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for coming in and braving the elements this weekend. We appreciate it. And another busy week, but let's go get him.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
All right. That is DeJuan Foster. He is the head boys basketball coach at Oskaloosa High School, joining us here on Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Take a break. We'll be back on the Indians Network right after this.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
Welcome back to Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network. Well, we've got you up to date now on girls and boys basketball with Coach White and Coach Foster. Coach Chase Weber, Oskaloosa Wrestling, is unable to be with us today on the program. We filmed this on Sunday, and because of the weekend weather, their Saturday tournament at Ankeny was postponed to Monday. So Monday, there's no school, and Oskaloosa wrestlers will head to Ankeny for a tough tournament. So they're taking the chance Sunday afternoon to get a workout in the practice room. So Coach Weber unable to be here. But I do want to talk about this past Thursday night. Oskaloosa had a home wrestling duel, as you saw here on the Indians Network. Big shout out to Brett Sams, who's usually my color commentator when we do wrestling. And again, due to weather and the Pella Christian basketball games being moved up to Thursday, I had to be there. So Brett Sams took the reins and did it by himself Thursday and did a fantastic job. Thank you, Brett. But Oskaloosa took on DCG. DCG got the win in the duel 43-30, but it was competitive right down to the end. And winners for Oskaloosa were Salvador Gonzalez, Leland Evans, Wyatt Creer, Cody Gunn, Keegan Mitz Butler, and Trey Miller, the young freshman at 120 pounds, all picked up wins in that duel. 43-30 was the final, DCG with the win. As I said, coming up for Oskaloosa Wrestling Monday now, they will be at that Ankeny tournament. That's going to be a tough one, some good competition that will help out for later in the season come district time. Thursday night, Oskaloosa is home again at wrestling, and they'll be hosting Indianola in a conference duel, and we'll have that one right here live on the Indians Network Thursday night from the Oskaloosa Gym. So if you can't be there, make sure you dial us in, and you can watch the action right here on the Indians Network. I'll be joined by Brett Sams, and we'll bring you all that action on Thursday. So good luck to the Oskaloosa wrestlers this week. Well, big thanks to our guests who came into the studio and joined us this week. Again, Oskaloosa girls basketball coach J.C. White, boys coach DeJuan Foster, and we thank them for braving the elements and coming out with us on this cold Sunday afternoon. Get out, support Oskaloosa Athletics this week. A lot to see as the boys are home Monday night against Sheraton. The girls are home Tuesday against Bondurant Farrar. The boys are on the road at Ottumwa Tuesday. And then both squads hit the road at Grinnell Friday as we start round 2 of the Little Hawkeye Conference. Of course, we'll have it all covered right here on the Indians Network with another busy week. Thanks to our sponsors, Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, for making the Indians Corner possible. And let's thank our Indian Network partners as well. They are MCG, Oskaloosa News, Thunder Country, KIIC, and of course we work with the OVP program at Oskaloosa High School as well. For all of us at the Indians Network, my name is Jamie Brockman. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Go Indians!
Oskaloosa. It's our community, and we're thankful to be a part of it. Telling its stories, sharing its smiles. We're building community, keeping you informed, giving you a voice, letting you know you're never alone during the victories and the losses, happiness and pain. For tomorrow's a new day, and we'll be there, working for you, ready to tell your story. That's our commitment. It's what we do, now and in the future, because we're always on. We're Oskaloosa News.